1958, I was still just getting out of grade school and into junior high, and I had a friend that just was peppering me to go out in the lake and look for logs that were floating. We'd had a sawmill burned down about 2 years before that, and all their logs had gotten loose. I told him, but I can't. I don't know how to swim. He says, well, come on with me, and I'll let you try swimming a little bit with some aids. And so he had a pair of fins and a mask, and I put those fins on and got in the water, and I was Superman. I could swim. And so it was really, that's what really got me started. And so we salvaged logs all one summer, and then I just went from there and started swimming and diving any chance I could get. How about you?
Back in '69, I had somebody who was a friend of mine approach me and say, you know, how would you like to go in business with me? And I said, what would that be? He says, well, we want to open a scuba shop. I said, really? And he said, yeah, I'll be in charge of the retail end of the business, and you'll be in charge of the teaching. And I thought for a moment, I said, well, I guess I better take a class then. And so we started assembling some equipment together. We put together a complete system. And I said, well, we got to go test this stuff out. And we had one set of equipment, so I went in first, and he just said, just breathe normal. And so I went in, I couldn't see a thing, and come out with a bloody nose. And it was interesting seeing, I didn't know I had a bloody nose, but obviously I wasn't equalizing or something. And that was my first experience. The next thing was to go up to Potlatch State Park and do a saltwater dive, you know. And then I signed up for a class at Portland Community College. Then the following year, I signed up to go down to Monterey to an instructor program. Can't say I passed with high honors, but it was a great experience. I got a chance to meet a lot of people. Hal Watts was one of my instructors. And Bob Clark, who had started SSI from that particular clinic. It's where the big split between NASDS and SSI.
Yeah.
So when I got done, I actually ended up with 2 certifications.
What's your idea of the biggest change in the diving industry since we started?
When I started teaching, there wasn't a lot of instruction on how to instruct. I mean, I created my own tests, I created my own outlines. When we started the dive shop, I hired a NAUI instructor, and I worked with him for a period of time with him so I could get better. At that same time, in the early 70s, is when buoyancy compensators started coming out.
Even when I became an instructor, we hadn't even started using buoyancy compensators yet. They never even thought about any equipment. I mean, if everything failed, it was how well you could take care of yourself. Today, it seems like anyone can go diving if they want to because the equipment is so much more reliable.
My certification dives, we walk in the water, we followed the bottom out, and then we turned around and followed the bottom back. The idea of coming up when you're 30 or 40 feet, that negatively buoyant and with no other way of doing it other than kicking hard to get to the surface. You know, that was the dive profile. Follow the bottom out, follow the bottom back in, and make sure you have plenty of air to get back.
You owned a dive store for quite a while?
Yeah, I started the dive shop with my partner that I was telling you about. I was a reservist at the time. We started in '70, and then at the December of '70, I had to go active. I went over to Hawaii. I was in the Navy. I was on subs, and I was on a submarine that had 2 crews. So when we weren't out at sea, then we came back to Hawaii. And when I was in Hawaii, I did my diving and did more teaching there. And then when I got out of the service, then I went back to the dive shop, which was a couple of years later. Had it until 1989 when I sold it.
I noticed when I started teaching, it was really an exciting time to teach classes. That was really what it was all about. Certainly wasn't any money to be made, but
No.
it was so exciting to relive your own beginning and diving by watching these people get so excited about seeing little anemones and fish and all different kinds of things.
Teach at Mount Hood Community College now. In fact, got a class going. There's something about it that is I truly enjoy doing.
That's terrific. Well, it's really been nice talking to you today.
Nice talking to you too, Brent.
Okay.